My name is Nea and welcome back to Crafts and Dressers. And today we'll be continuing our Strawberry Cottage project where I'll be customizing our Sylvanian Families Country Cottage from the 1980s. And last times we already worked on the exterior quite a bit. We did the shutters and such. And if you haven't seen that video yet, I'll link it down here so you can go see that first. Today's plan though is to focus on the roof. So I figured out this pretty interesting technique to make some shingles, and we're gonna age it and add a lot of details. So I hope you're gonna like that. There's still a lot to do about the exterior, but let's just focus on the roof today. For our material, I'll be using this cardboard. As you can see, it has this like rigged wavy pattern inside. And I've actually already ripped like the bottom layer off, but I'm gonna show you how to do that so you get your hands on that nice layer, textured layer that we actually want to use today. So I have just lukewarm water on the spray bottle. I'm gonna spray it all over the cardboard, let it soak in a little bit, and actually rub it in with my palm. This helps the cardboard to absorb the water and like not let the water drip off, because sometimes that happens. And once you've let your cardboard to soak for about a minute, then you're ready to start ripping off the layers. And this is really easy and quite self-explanatory as well. You just find a corner or whatever spot you like and start ripping the smooth outer layer. Sometimes it comes off in bigger sections and that's super satisfying, but sometimes it takes a little bit of time and you have to be picking little pieces here and there. I found it really therapeutic though, so yeah, I enjoyed this part a lot. One thing to note as well is that sometimes the cardboard might dry out quite fast and the ripping gets difficult. Then in that case, you just take your spray bottle again, spray it wherever you want it to be soaking a bit more, and continue. It's really easy to control the amount of water with the spray bottle, so that's why I highly suggest you use that instead of just dipping your palm in a cup or something. So yeah, really easy, and eventually you'll end up with nice blank slate that you can use for your roofing materials. And my cardboard actually warped quite a bit from all the moisture, so I let it dry out after I was done underneath some random frames and books, whatever I had laying around. And while that was drying, I actually went a bit solo off camera and repainted the shutters and the door. So eventually I turned the pink decorative pieces green, because if you saw that first or the last episode, I was a bit hesitant of the pink color. And yeah, I figured, okay, I want to try something darker, something that gives off folk lorist vibes more, and I think the dark green really nailed that. And since that's done and I'm finally happy with those, we can now move on to our shingles. And yes, my cardboard is still a bit warped, but it's okay. We're gonna anyway cut it up in little pieces and also glue it down, so eventually you won't notice it. And honestly, I don't even mind if you notice it. It's fine for me if there's a little bit of warpiness and whimsy on my roof. But what I'm doing here is I'm just gonna measure the width of the roofing. Here I'm just gonna measure the red part because I do want to keep the tan or wooden toned trim as it is. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and cut up my cardboard into the right width. So it doesn't matter how long your piece is at this point, just the right width is what I wanna work with. And now I can just start cutting them into strips on the other direction. My strips are about 1.5, maybe 2 centimeters tall, and they don't have to be perfect in any way. At least in my experience, it doesn't matter if they're super straight or a bit wonky, because we're gonna be stacking them on top of each other to create this shingly look nice and easily. As you can see here, I'm kind of eyeballing if I'm happy with the like height of the shingles, and to me it looks really good comparing to the scale of the house. So that's what we're gonna be doing. Using tacky glue, I'm gonna start from the bottom of the roof. This is really important that you start from here because you wanna do the finishing touches on top of the roof. If you plan on making the roof different color than red, I maybe would suggest that you paint it, even though you're gonna kind of cover it up. My roof is gonna be red though, so I'm not minding about that. I don't care if something happens and there's like a little bit of red still peeking through, because you won't be able to notice it. But yeah, what I'm gonna be doing, I'm just gonna put them on top of each other, one strip at a time until I reach the top of the roof, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side as well. And here's what it looks like right now. I have done shingles on both sides of the roof, and only the heap of the roof is still unfinished. As you can see, there's a little bit of seam going on and like weird gaps. And to hide all of those, I like rip off this really thin wider strip that I also folded in two, just so I can glue that in to finish off the roofing. So just like all the shingles, I'm just gonna add a generous amount of tacky glue on both sides because I really want this to stick to the plastic part as well. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and glue that in. And here's how it looks like right now. You can already kind of see the vision of the shingles coming together, and to me it looks really good. But there's so many layers of glue right now going on that I really want to make sure that everything dries out before we touch it with any sort of paint. So I'm gonna leave it for over the night to dry and rest my eyes after gluing all these little pieces, and then come back tomorrow and start doing the paint jobs. It's the next morning and my favorite part of the project, meaning painting. And first I'm gonna be doing the base layer on top of the roof using this really tomato red acrylic paint. It doesn't really matter what kind of shade of paint you use. Like obviously my roof is gonna be red, so I'm using red, but like the exact tone isn't that big of a deal because we're gonna add lots and lots of layers on top of this. But obviously we always need to start from somewhere, so let's do the base layer. I didn't get too far before I realized that I better maybe tape the edges so the process of painting gets easier. So I just taped everything with masking tape and then continued painting my base layers. For the tiny little gaps and spots that were hard to get with a bigger brush, I went ahead and picked a smaller brush and kind of pushed the paint between the shingles to make sure it gets everywhere. Maybe it would have been smart to paint the shingles before gluing them in, but like that sounds like a waste of paint to me, and I don't know, just a lot of mess. In my brain it was easier to do it this way. After the base layers, I figured it's time to actually tone it down and add some texture to the roof, because even though the shingles look nice, they don't actually look like real shingles. So what I'm doing here is I'm gonna mix my red paint with a little bit of black to tone it down, and then to add the texture I'm gonna take some baking soda and add that into my paint. This is a great technique whenever you want more texture or grittiness to your acrylic paints. And I'm not really measuring anything here, I'm just eyeballing, making sure that my paint baking soda mixture stays liquid enough. If you add too much baking soda, the paint might start chipping off. So be careful with that one. You can always like add a little bit less grittiness and add several layers instead if that's better for your project. Especially when working with plastic, I tend to do that. But this time obviously we're working on cardboard, so the paint usually sticks a bit better. Now I can just go ahead and give my roof a couple of layers with this After all that dried, you can already see that there's enormous difference with the texture, the shininess, and the color. It's a bit more uneven, it's not as shiny, and that's exactly what I want. Now I want to age it down a bit more though, so I'm gonna be mixing some brown and black acrylic paint to do like a watered down wash. As you can see also, I went ahead and changed the tapes around my roofing trims because I noticed that some of the paint was leaking through them and I didn't want any to dry on the plastic trim. So be aware of that. For this part, I chose to use this old makeup brush because it was really soft and I felt like it made working with the wash easier. And by wash, I mean the watered down paint. I'm using watered down paint for aging often because it makes the details pop and it also gives like more of a subtle aging. Because if I would go ahead and just use like plain acrylic paint, it would leave too harsh and really unrealistic staining to the piece. And as you can see here, I'm adding more of the wash to the edges of the shingles because in my mind that's where, after using years of rainwater and dirt, all the grittiness and dirt would have built up. So I really want to emphasize of the roof being old and dirty by doing this. After we've added a lot of grime and shadows with the dark wash, it was time to brighten up some of the shingles and at least some parts of it. And for that, I went ahead and mixed this orange paint, and what I'm gonna be doing is to just dry brush some of that all over the roof. This is gonna add more like dimension to the shingles as well as add some sort of a look of sun damage because there's all sorts of damage when talking about roofing and we wanna add it all. This is an old building and it has seen some years already. And I think you can't even really tell the orange layer from camera, but I also want to go ahead and add like the last most brightest layer, and for that I'm gonna be mixing like light pink color. I'm not gonna be using white because I think it's too bright, so toning it down a little helps to make it look more subtle and also more natural. And this is gonna be the layer that actually makes it all come together. And here it is all dried out. I took off the tapes already and I'm just gonna now clean off the edges to get rid of any wash and stain that we might have there. And then we can move on to the last part of the roofing. And what would an old cottage be without some moss on its roof? So obviously we need to add some greenery. For that, I have some different kind of flockings and fake moss and some sort of a vine with flowers. I'm gonna start with this green fine flocking and then add probably some more textures to it later. This is gonna be really messy though, so what we're gonna need to do is to cover our table. I found this big packing paper piece that I'm gonna be using. So when I start using the flocking and the foliage, all the excess can drop onto that instead of the table. And then I'm gonna go just ahead and start by adding my tacky glue to the bottom of the roofing. I'm trying to make sure that I get it on the edge and to the seams so we can blend the plastic and the shingle parts together a little bit better. I'm also gonna spread some to the edges of the shingles. Again, just trying to think where the moss would naturally grow on shingles. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and smear it all with my finger. This helps the layer to get a little bit more thin and also more natural looking because the flocking is gonna stick everywhere where I have the glue on. After that, I'm gonna go ahead and take my flocking and sprinkle it on top of the glue. I'm also gonna go ahead with my fingers and tap it in just to make sure it stays intact a little bit better. And then I'm gonna go ahead in sections and do that to the whole roof. Here's what it looks like after the glue has dried out. There is some excess flocking going on still, so I'm gonna go ahead with a brush and brush it off gently. After that, I'm gonna give it one last little tap to get the rest to the paper as well, and then I can save all that flocking back to my bag so it can be reused. And we're almost there, but I feel like it still needs a little bit more volume and maybe a hint of color. For that, I'm gonna be adding a little bit more tacky glue to the bottom part and to the edges of the roof. Then I'm gonna go ahead with this viney greenery foliage thing. I don't really know what it's called. I got it, it was meant for like these railway dioramas to make some bushes and whatnots. And I used it once in one of my houses and realized that it's so easy and fun to use that I wanted to add some to this building as well. So as you can see, I'm just tapping it into the glue, and you can even like cut it with scissors and it still looks, because it's so textured, it still looks like nice and natural. So there's not a lot of like stress and hassle when adding it. But yeah, I love this product. I just don't really know what to call it. To me, it's just like viney, flowery mess in the best possible way. And of course, we're gonna go ahead and add it a little bit all over the place to make it look more natural and cohesive. And here it is, all done, all dried out. I'm really loving how this is looking. Only thing that I'm actually thinking now is that, should we add a chimney? Would that be so cute? I don't know. Let me know if we should add a chimney, because then I'll do it. I'll just do it. But I'm really loving this project. We still have at least one more episode to fix up the exterior and finish it off. And then we can finally move on to the furniture and interior. And I'm so excited to see how this turns out. As always, thank you for being here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.